Yep, I'm going to introduce you. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this very quick presentation by Lucie Scott, our BAME officer for Hackney North, and she is going to tell us a brief summary on Black History Month. And thank you to comrades from Hackney North Labour who have joined in the background as well. Lucie, come in, please.
Okay, thanks very much. I just had a quick 5 minutes, so I'm just going to flash straight through, but I will post the PowerPoint. If people want to take time and have a look at the links and delve a bit further, please feel free. So I hope this is accessible to everybody. This is kind of my theme for this year. So I'm looking at African writers and just basically going back almost 5,000 years and starting with Imhotep, who's very much misrepresented in the mummy films, and he's really an exciting, intellectual, educated guy who's really worth finding out more about. Then also as well, Hatshepsut, a hero of mine. So this is like 2,500 years ago, and Amenemhat was her scribe when she was the king's daughter, but also when she was the pharaoh. So this is just an indicator of writing that goes back thousands of years, and there's a few pictures there to go with that. So what I was going to talk to people about quickly, I did mention this in group as well, was about the mystery around Emilia Bassano Lanier, and it's just been quite mind-blowing to find out a bit more about her. So we often hear about the Tawny woman, and so this is Emilia, a Black woman of color. There's much mystery and different ideas around her, but basically this is a Black woman who was around at the time, clearly had a relationship with Shakespeare. And when we see Shakespeare in Love, after finding out a bit more about Emilia, seeing Gwyneth Paltrow playing this part, I feel is a real misrepresentation. So whether or not Emilia was part of Shakespeare's writing and plays and influenced, with her Venetian background, we know there are various Black characters in his plays. Emilia was published in 1611, and she wrote some amazing poetry, particularly from a feminist perspective, questioning the Christian church's perspective around Eve and what happened in the Garden of Eden. But just quickly, as a woman who's very much been misrepresented, often Moroccan is confused with Moor. Venice was, an international interchange. So, there are rumors that she was Venetian, Moroccan, Moor, also of Jewish descent, but she was very much at the heart of arts in London, in Clerkenwell, and is just an amazing woman who, was writing from a feminist perspective in the 17th century. And then just quickly showing a misrepresentation of Queen Charlotte, who was African and Germanic. So we see her shown as a mixed race woman. She was represented as such in Bridgerton, but we also see that she's often very much whitewashed. Also, if we think about coming out of enslavement, literacy was a crime. You could be imprisoned or fined. Ida was born in that time and did amazing work, particularly the Red Record. And then J.A. Rogers, amazing self-taught writer who went back and rediscovered our ancient Black history. So that's him. And then we've got Claudia, who's very much part of Stoke Newington, and James Baldwin. So this is just a selection of amazing African writers that I wanted to share with you. So please feel free to have a look at the PowerPoint and have a look at some of the links and discover more. And if you knew already, I just wanted to share that with people. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much, Lucie. And I'm so sorry for the dramatic Somali shout in the background. I didn't know I was not muted. And So just very briefly before I let you go, Black History Month is coming to an end in a few days, and the historical background that you just went through with us is really important. Can you please just give us rough summary of, in your views, how Black History Month this month with the theme of Proud to Be has been, and any reminders of that you would like comrades who are watching later on, and just in general people who are watching later on, to have about what Black History Month key lessons that you would like them to take away?
Oh, way too much information. Sorry. Okay. So, I mean, like that was a theme for me this year, and I've been sharing that at school and in various other places. I think it is important to make the most of the opportunity in October to kind of really delve deep back in and revisit a lot of our history that's been lost. Well, obviously, I think that, this shouldn't be just a month. For myself, I feel that, Hackney always puts on an amazing program, and there's, always that commitment to honoring our celebration of now, and the fortitude and struggle that people have gone through. But obviously we shouldn't have to claim it back in the way that we do. But it is October and we still have to do these things. So hopefully through the work that's happening in Hackney and through the NEU and other Black educators and other allies, we can develop and progress in, really decolonizing the curriculum, so that these things are at the heart of, what education and knowledge of our history and our past is about, instead of having to kind of say, oh my God, why are they still making major Hollywood movies that still misrepresent us and whitewash history? So yeah, but also as well, Hackney's got an amazing history of its own. It's really worth visiting the Hackney Museum. I'm excited to check out what's going on at Abbey Park. We had a visitor from the Equiano Society at our EMF meeting, which is, doing some amazing work with our own Black history in Hackney. So yeah, that's more than my 5 minutes worth, but yeah, that was the contribution I was going to give out, and hopefully people can catch up with our little shot now. I'm going to stop
Thank you
recording.
so much.
Thank you so much,
Yeah, just
Deepa, for
very
letting me
quickly
do
before you
that.
go, just very quickly before you go, in our in AGM now in Hackney North, our MP Diane Abbott spoke about a very serious, concerning threat that she has received, and you wrote a very powerful emergency motion as well, which unfortunately wasn't accepted into the meeting, but we have passed it on to all branch secretaries for the ward meetings next on November, when it comes to everyone. I just wanted you to very briefly just kind of mention the serious nature of the attack that our own MP receives as a Black woman in politics, in light of the very serious threat that's a lot of MPs and a lot of people in politics are facing recently. What would you have something to add just onto that, and a solidarity to Diane as well? And like, we all shared the concern, and the ultimate, just how worrying that was, that she faced that threat from someone who lives in Hackney.
Yeah, I think it was totally shocking to hear what Diane did have to say. And yeah, it was disappointing that the motion that came wasn't deemed an emergency, but I think it still does raise some very important issues that need to be brought to the attention of the Labour Party, and specifically, like, we know the statistics. Diane gets more than everyone else put together. This has been ongoing for way too long, and for it to have escalated to such, like, terrifying proportions, like solidarity, and definitely, like, in our prayers, Diane, like, to keep safe. But I know that Diane is a fighter, and she's fought long and hard, and she's not going to be intimidated and cowed by people, just trying to, like, as she said, capitalize on this moment, and be totally in disregard of, what that does actually make a person feel like. So I know that we'll all be thinking about Diane and are there to support her in any way we can. But fundamentally, the emergency motion is demanding that the party ensure that, Black women, particularly in the example of Diane, are safeguarded. I personally think it's absolutely shocking that the behavior that she's faced has been gone unchallenged for so long without, the mainstream of the party being able to call it out, being able to see misogyny for what it is, and being able to tackle and challenge it and ensure that, all MPs should feel safe. Do you know what I'm saying? And that includes everybody. And particularly in light of the disgusting, vile things that were brought out in the leaked report and the lack of response to that, and even the lack of solidarity to how that those revelations must have made particular Black MPs feel. I just think it is shocking, and part of that motion is to demand that report. We want a response. We want the outrageous behavior that we've seen to be challenged. We want our MP of nearly 35 years who's been, violated. We want that to be challenged. We want her to be reassured that she's safe and that everything that should be done is being done from HQ outwards. It shouldn't be just down to the borough commander. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it shouldn't be just down to Diane and her team. She should be safeguarded within the organization. Like, we're a party. Like, it's just utterly shocking. So
thank you, Lucy, and thank you, everyone. Thank you to comrades who have joined in the link and listening. Please let me know if you would like to say anything. John?
Could I say something to Lucy?
Yes.
Lucy, I don't know if you know about this, but years ago, I went to a little church, or the remnants of a church, called St. David's on the Wall in Essex. It's on the coast. And I looked in the records there. Actually, it had just been reduced to a barn, actually, but it was part of the old Celtic church. And one of the bishops who set it up, his name was, I can't remember his name, but it was called somebody the Black, right? Now, the Celtic church came from Northumbria, and they came down on the North Sea. Now, the auxiliary Roman troops on Hadrian's Wall were Black. They were called Fortens. After the Roman Empire withdrew, they remained up in the north. And it struck me that this bishop was called the Black because he was Black.
Yeah, I don't know if you've been to Hereford, but Saint Maurice, 16th century, he's in the cathedral stained glass. I've never managed to see it, but I'm definitely fascinated. And yeah, I mean, Septimus Severus apparently brought over mercenary groups, and also like the Roman Empire was not, in its height of dominance until it it won the Punic Wars, which was very much with, African people. And if you did 25 years service, you became a Roman citizen. So there were many fighters and warriors and, centurions that were of African descent. And like you say, the Septimus Severus, when he was the emperor, brought his mercenaries. They didn't succeed to get past Hadrian's Wall, but when they talk about English people having Black ancestors, I would say that those mercenaries that stayed very much are responsible for some of that DNA. And also as well, like with the Cornish, the tin mines, like the Kemetic civilization knew of those resources. The Celtic religion, or the Celtic kind of mythology takes you back to Kemet. So there was always international interchange. You can go to South America and see things that reflect Egypt. So, like we kind of 1492 Christopher Columbus, but there had been, many millennia and centuries of international interchange before that kind of European rise up to dominance.
Powerful.
So, yeah, very
Well, yeah,
but I feel that I don't really, I just don't want to be keeping people. So I'm happy to carry on, but I want to end the recording. So thanks.
Yeah, we're going to end the recording, and because I just think it's a really important conversation, and I think people would love to learn more, but I think it's more important that we continue this conversation later on. But this was a very quick for, as we lost the link for the previous meeting, and for the comrades to watch that presentation, and I'm sure everybody would have loved to have seen it. So thank you, Lucie, thank you, John. In a minute after we stop the recording, you can continue the conversation. Everybody, Black History Month is coming to an end officially with the calendar version in a few days. But as we all know, and as Lucie said, Black history is beyond October. Continue the conversation in schools, in the workplace, in everywhere. Be an ally, be a supporter, be educated. And history is our oldest teacher. We have to pay attention, and we have to learn from the past to ensure the problems of today are something that we can collectively face. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Lucie. And solidarity today.